Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, August 8th, 2023. We have a slew of birthdays to get through and just a few events. We'll start way back in 1976. Dave Marcus wins at Talladega, his second career win, and this would be the next to last win for the famed K&K Insurance Dodge owned by Nord Crosskopf. This would also be Marcus' first super speedway triumph as well. I think that was a pretty formidable pairing there in the late 70s. Wish they could have stayed together a little longer to see what they could have accomplished. 2004 on this date, Jeff Gordon wins his, at the time, a record fourth Brickyard 400. Of course, he would go on to win one more. And on this date, 2010, Juan Pablo Montoya wins the Cup race at Watkins Glen for his second and final career NASCAR race win. So let's go to our birthdays born on this date in 1990. Current full-time Xfinity Series driver and NBC pit reporter, Mr. Parker Kligerman. Looks like this is a Kyle Busch Motorsports Truck Series card. It was the only one that I had in my Kligerman stack, so I'm sure I've got a few more of his, but they're probably in the rookie box. We're going to go back to another driver here, born on this date in 1947. He's a former Xfinity, then Busch Series champion, and prior to that, the late model Sportsman Series, terrible Tommy Ellis. So here you see him with his Goo Goo Clusters candy bar sponsorship. I've tried Goo Goo Clusters years and years ago. To me, they're not that great, but maybe other folks like them. I think if I remember right, they had caramel and peanuts and chocolate and marshmallow and a whole bunch of other goodies, but it wasn't my thing. Trying to think who he was driving for then, because this would have been after he was dropped from the 99 car in favor of Jeff Burton. But he just kind of drove around Curtis Key and some other folks in the Busch Series. But his record speaks for itself, his accomplishments. He did run a couple of seasons in Cup in the mid-80s for Eric Friedlander. Eric Friedlander, the car owner, the 18 car, 85, 86, and 87. That's a pretty interesting story, so if you ever get a chance, go back and read up about Eric Friedlander, former mortgage broker, or something to that effect. Born on this date in 1953, he's a former Formula One champion, IndyCar champion, and almost won the Indy 500 as a rookie in 1993. Mr. Nigel Mansell. So this is a pretty cool card because it is a prototype card. So one of 15,000 produced. Have no idea where I picked that up at, but it was in my box and it was in the IndyCar slot. And our final birthday, born on this date in 1964, is a three-time Truck Series champion. Also has one Busch Series win and several Cup starts. One of the original drivers for what is now Stewart-Haas Racing, Mr. Jack Sprague. So there's Jack with car owner Fred Turner. There you see the 48 cart they ran back in the early 90s, I believe 90 and 91. And we're going to kind of have these somewhat in chronological order. Staff America, I believe that was the company that Bill Bumgardner owned, that later would start a Busch Series team. Jack would drive for them as well before he was released in favor of Johnny Benson. Made some random truck starts early on. Does that have a picture? It didn't have a picture. Then he was at Hendrick. They picked up Quaker State, and then with Quaker State sponsorship comes Press Pass Recycling Photos, 97, 98. So there you go. Won a lot of races, got the GMAC sponsorship. Then ended up moving to the Haas sponsorship. Of course, this was still a Hendrick team with Gene Haas bringing the funding. Then he moved up to the Cup Series. Well, this is still the Busch car, but eventually he'd move up to Cup with this sponsorship. Then he was released, went back down to trucks to the Express Racing team Steve Coulter owned, won a title there, and then ended up going to one of the Toyota teams. I can't remember who the owner was. Weiler Racing. Okay, that was the one that Todd Bodine and some others raced for a little bit. There's the Staff America car that Bill Bumgardner owned, and I don't know whether to like this paint job or to hate this paint job, because it's got a lot going on. When Benson took over, they removed the yellow on the bottom, and it became a little bit more palatable. But there was so much neon and so much going on. This car was extremely bright in person. Of course, this is one of his Truck Series rides. Is this Brevac Racing or Rosenblum? It really does. It says Bill Broderick and Associates. But I associate the 31 with either Jim Rosenblum or Bob Brevac. Well, Brevac was the 34 as well. So there's a good look at the Busch car, the Net Zero. I believe there's another picture of it on the back. A little bit more zoomed in. And then the Truck Series, Steve Coulter owned, Express Racing. Mostly ran the Chevy Trucks livery on that. But Jack does have quite a few cards, and he does have quite the interesting career. Always did good on the short and intermediate tracks in the Truck Series. But there you have it. There's our birthdays. There's our events. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you come back tomorrow, and please enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for watching.